People were pretty, amazed by the fact that they could get their salaries in 30 seconds. It's like an on-demand pay, right? I mean, you can order your groceries on an app, you can order a taxi on an app. Now you can kind of get your salary on an app as well. So this was kind of a revolutionary product for them.
All right, welcome to today's VidTal podcast. This is VidTal co-founder Ian Naj, and today we're talking with Mr. Hassan Mumel. Hassan is head of marketing and brand experience for Abhi. That's abhi.com.pk. So Abhi is from Pakistan. It's one of the fastest growing companies ever in Pakistan. It's also a Y Combinator-backed startup, and they're in fintech, and it's insane. They've grown from just starting out to hundreds of thousands of users in under 2 years, and Hassan has been there since day one. Really cool chat that we had here about, first of all, the importance of engaging with your customers and your audience and letting your marketing and your product follow from that. So getting into some tactics with Hassan on that. Also talking about how the company has navigated some inflation crises in the country, and also how they've expanded from being very specific to just Pakistan to also the UAE and also now Bangladesh as well. So really, really interesting conversation with one of the fastest growing companies around. Can't wait to share it with you. So let's dive in.
This podcast is brought to you by vidtao.com. VidTao is our free YouTube ad library and spy tool, research tool. It's vidtao.com. At VidTao, we have close to 1 million unlisted YouTube video ads that you can search, find, discover how they're doing on a day-by-day basis, so you can really see what ads your competitors are running, see ads in different markets that you can model to create new winning ads for yourself, and a whole lot more. It's all there inside vidtao.com. Plus, we have a premium edition. So the database is free to access, but then we also have a premium edition where you have full unlimited access to the database. And inside there, we also provide training. So we also run an agency called Inceptly. That's INCEPTLY. Inceptly.com, where we've managed over $150 million on YouTube. It's a video traffic agency, and we've worked with everyone from brands like Descript.com, Huel, to real scrappy direct response, info products, supplements, health, beauty, e-commerce, you name it, we've done it, and love sharing what we've learned. Every week we drop new training in there, everything from YouTube ad media buying to running e-commerce creatives on YouTube, to hardcore tracking and attribution tutorials to really level up your data science game for advertising, and everything in between. Right now, as we speak, we're working on a training regarding YouTube Shorts. Hopefully we'll be live by the time you hear this. On and on and on. This is our passion, is video advertising, and we want to share it with you inside of VidTao Premium. And actually right now, for a limited time, you can get access to VidTao Premium for a very special price. So if you go to vidtao.com, sign up for free, check out the database, upgrade to Premium for this very special price, you'll get access to all of the database and all the trainings. And also wanted to add that at Inceptly, we do free brainstorm calls with clients like you. So if you ever want to get help or ask questions about your YouTube ads, your video traffic on other platforms, we're available to chat. Just go to inceptly.com/call, CALL, and set up a time to chat. It's free, and would love to speak with you. Our team's waiting to speak with you. So without further ado, let's get into the show.
Thank you for inviting me over, Ian. First of all, it's a pleasure to be on this podcast. About myself, I started my career while I was in my university. I started working for a company called Ibex Global, which had a call center basically outsourced. So we were basically providing customer experience to come to the company called Square Trade. It's a US-based warranty provider, and it was a great experience while I was, studying. It was a night job. I could do that, and that's where the customer experience aspect, or this experience for customers, got me interested. And the curiosity basically enabled me to explore the brand experience aspect as I moved on in my career. And moving on, I joined several international brands. There were food chains and restaurants. We introduced them in Pakistan. They were pretty awesome learnings there as well, because a lot of things didn't work since they were not localized to in terms of taste, etc. So we kind of launched new packaging, new flavors, localized flavors and different recipes. Um, so yeah, it was pretty awesome there as well. I worked for about 2 years, and then is when my startup journey began. It was again, like you said, it was founding member there. I was second employee and the first marketing hire. It was a carpooling startup based in Pakistan. There were four Pakistani Americans who got health prize money that was $1 million, and they brought us in 2018, when the startup ecosystem was pretty small in Pakistan. And moving on from there, we started off very nicely, but due to circumstances like COVID, which was completely unavoidable, we had to wrap this up. We couldn't raise our Series A, and then I moved on to a health tech, and consulted a few other startups in the journey, and then finally landed with Abhi, which is the YC-backed startup that I'm working for right now. And I joined it as, again, fourth member in the team. Basically, Abhi came with a vision of having the first financial wellness platform in Pakistan. Because you see landscape in Pakistan, we have a lot of different different benefits for employees. But if you talk about financial benefits, we hardly have any, right? And looking at the ecosystem, finance was something that was solely held by banking sector, which is very formal, and for people to just get credit was completely almost impossible if you're below a certain salary range, in the economy. So with Abhi, we started off with a very cool product, which is globally known as earned wage access. In Abhi, we call it Abhi Salary. Just by the way, Abhi means now. For English viewers. So the essence was that, hey, whenever you need your salary is when you should get it, right? So let's say you're working 30 days, but you're only getting paid for one day. I mean, not for one day, but essentially one day that you get paid while you're working all the month, right? So with earned wage access, you could just download, the app, and whatever you've earned till the day you're accessing it, you can just transfer that instantly in 30 seconds to any bank account or a wallet, in Pakistan, which was pretty cool. We started off and our operations kind of came into being in April. And then, we started off with our first client in July, pilot run with them, and was pretty successful. People were pretty excited to use this product. And then we went full-fledged, launch. And, today, almost, I think it's going to be in April, there'd be 2-year-old startup. We have almost gathered about 380 plus clients, B2B clients we're talking about. And, the thing has kind of grown on people as well. So, starting off from an economy where earned wage access was an alien term to, so many companies on board, with top 10 textile exporters of Pakistan as well. 5 out of 10 are almost on board, working and smoothly running. So it's just pretty much an achievement for us. So yeah, that's quite a summary that I just gave
Yeah,
without having to stop there.
that's amazing. I know. So I guess the way to contextualize Abi in American terms, we have like payday loans where you
Yeah. So
that.
yeah. So payday loans are kind of different, right? Because
Okay.
you're giving them money which they might have not earned, right? So let's say I earn, $30,000 a month, which is pretty high, just for assumption, like $3,000 a month, right? That's a pretty accurate one. So I'm making $100 a day, right? And if I want, I can take out $100 the first day I worked. So that's how it works, right? It's not exceeding what you have not earned. And with Abhi, we just charge one-time transaction fee. That's the only charge that happens to the employer or employee, whoever wants to bear the charge. Usually, in our case, employees bear the charges because employers want to keep it completely free for themselves.
Interesting. That's really cool. And so, that's insane that you have hundreds of thousands of users in
Yep.
basically less than 2 years.
Yeah.
So what was that journey like, going from first user to to
Huge
hundreds of
number.
thousands. Yeah, that's insane. What was it like getting your first user, and how did that compare to getting your, you know, figuring things out to get your 10,000th and then your 100,000th? I'm just curious about that journey.
Yeah, so basically, looking at there were a lot of challenges. It was not a piece of cake, I can tell you that, right? So initially, I remember when we were first launching with the first customer, it was just almost 8 people in the team, and even though a lot of experienced people were there, I mean, in startup, you were just, you're supposed to do everything and anything, right? So it's you're not afraid to get scraping the floor, right? So that kind of stuff. I mean, we started off with activations in their first company, and I remember we were all standing with the stall, telling people about the product and getting their face to face, one-on-one feedback on how they feel about it. And from that onwards, I remember that we had shifts on the call center, as in we had a call center phone that we were taking ourselves because we wanted to see what the customers are feeling like and how we can adapt to their requests and feedback. So people were pretty amazed by the fact that they could get their salaries in 30 seconds. It's like a on demand pay, right? I mean, you can order your groceries on an app. You can order a taxi on an app. Now you can kind of get your salary on an app as well. So this was kind of a revolutionary product for them. And instances like people were, I mean, pretty hand to mouth, right? For a small range of salary that you can talk about, like people are making about even $200 a month here. So looking at that segment, they just can't wait for the next paycheck for an unexpected expense that just came on their door. So there was one guy who called us and was an emergency about he was like, hey, I need some money, and my app is kind of buggy, it's not working, letting me take out the cash. And I was on the call, I was like, hey, what happened? And he was like, hey, my tire got burst, and I think I
Wow.
need a replacement, and I don't
Hmm.
have enough cash. I wanted to use Uphe to get my salary. So if you can see it, that'd be awesome, because I gave him a ETA of 24 hours to get
Yeah.
back. And then he gave me the reason, and I was like, oh, this is urgent. And I call him tech team, and I was like, hey, can you fix this guy? And we kind of did. And I called him back, and he was like really happy because he said, okay, that's completely done. And I got the issue fixed. So right there and then he could go to the ATM in a bank and get the cash out and get the work done. Um, so we made a DVC out of it as well. Our first, digital commercial was based out of this whole story that we got.
Wow.
And more stories to come. There's been several other instances where people were just calling us and blessing us because they got out of trouble, and they could enjoy anniversary, or they could enjoy birthdays or celebrations. So it's just that a product like this can, when you need it, is something that can change your life.
Yeah.
So these experiences just got us more motivated into doing what we were doing. It was just not about the job or just what the product is. It was more about the social impact and the cause that we were supporting as a team. And then that's how our synergies kind of aligned, and we kind of went all in. And yeah, so yeah, different campaigns that we tried. I think I'll just take a pause here and let you give any questions that you have.
Yeah, no, totally. I think that's amazing that you immediately, well, first of all, that as a marketer, that you, especially in the early days, were so involved with the finding out the actual customer experiences, like direct from the customer versus like trying to abstract it.
Yeah.
And then you really honed in on that story. That's amazing. And it makes an app so real when you see the story around how someone's actually using it to make their life better, to solve a challenging problem that, in some way or other, we've probably all faced. So needing money and not having it, um, that's really cool. I'm just curious, so yeah, I love to hear the sort of mechanics of how you were going about, obviously you're exposed to all these stories, and then how are you deciding how to actually test these on different platforms and see what the actual impact in terms of user growth is for Ubby?
Yep. Exactly. So I'll start with some of the marketing, tactics, or the strategies that we created. I mean, initially we were just, I think, 2 people, right? It was just one part-time resource that I had and myself. We spent like hours and I think days creating these strategies and testing them out. So one thing that we understood that in a B2B situation or ecosystem, when we talk about fintechs, you cannot just go digital if you're not that big. People just don't trust you, right? Because when it involves cash, when it involves your employees' cash, is something you're skeptical about, right? So the digital side of the things were not working as smoothly in terms of lead generation, right? So there were two issues that we had to take care of. One, I kind of explain it as two funnels that I was looking at, right? One was the sales funnel that you look at, right? So you kind of create the brand awareness, and then get your leads, and then SQLs, and then MQLs, and then closes is something that's running side by side. And then there's the other funnel that was a huge problem for us initially, was activating the current users, right? So if we get a company on board, how do we get the people inside that company to download the app and start using it? So educating them and showing them enough value was something that we were struggling with. So this is here we started introducing or integrating the MMP's mobile marketing platform. We kicked off with Apps Flyer, and we had Mixpanel running as well, so we could get some insights, creating these cohorts, understanding the user behavior, making changes to the UI of the app. Side by side, while these UI changes were being made, we would test them with the digital ads, showing these ads to the current users, so that we can track if the user is converting from that ad and start using the app or log in and make a transaction. So different kind of these campaigns were being run on the data that we used to get from the employers, so that we can test if the customers respond to those. And then other mediums that we were testing were sending them out SMS and WhatsApp messages, which was one of the most effective tool there. And also some personalized physical activation sessions where we would go in and explain these users about how they can make more value out of the product. So this was sorted, but then the B2B funnel, the sales funnel, was again something that we couldn't very much effectively have a very good ratio of closing when we were using digital mediums. So we started off with other mediums to test with. Again, out of home advertising was not something that we would want to test, because it's just targeting masses. So telling people about the product that they cannot use is not something that I wanted to go out with. So we started off with events, these roadshows and events that were targeted to the companies, right? So a lot of companies that we want to target all in one place is where we want to be, and start pitching them the product. And then we found that a lot of these companies that come in have sales reps standing there, and they have no interest in buying something from you versus selling you, right? And that was an issue. And you, even though you have companies right there, you couldn't get the person who would make a decision right there. So interestingly, I found that these job fairs or the career fairs in the universities happen to have all these employers, and then there are HR people there, right? The people who want to hire people, and they are the people who actually make decisions on these benefits or these programs.
Wow.
So these were the career fairs, were kind of game changer, right? So we went in, and these career fairs, we used to identify career fairs around the country, and we used to participate in them. And the idea was not to hire, because we were not aggressively hiring like big corporations, but also to actually build awareness in other corporations there that, hey, this is the benefit that Gen Zs or millennials are looking forward to. So you gotta hop on. So all in one place, all these HR people are there, and we would just go in and crazy branding, crazy giveaways, and all low budget, but we would print these currency notes half. They were half printed with currency, and then half printed with the saying of salary chahiye abhi. Salary chahiye abhi means do you want your salary right now? Is what we printed. And we
Got it.
fold them halfway and throw them around, and people would just pick it up and be like, hey, what's this? And they would come to our stall. So
Wow.
we did some guerrilla marketing in a space where we had our target audience sitting right there. So that was pretty awesome campaign that we pulled off.
That's amazing. So that's so cool. Was it an accident that you thought to do the go to these HR fairs, or was that by design? I'm really curious about that. That's really counterintuitive.
So yeah, that was by design. I was so again, like you said, honing on to your target audience. We used to go to these events, sales events, and we used to find these salespeople telling us about their product, and and in exchange we would tell them about ours, and they would exchange cards with us, but nothing gets solid, right? And then the question was that, hey, these events do give us projection to these potential prospects, but how do we convert them? They're not the people who would maybe take our message unless if their personal interest lies in the product. So, what are these events where all the HR people would go and, have your attention and not a sales focus? So, I have found that these career fairs have approximately 120, 130 companies coming in, and they want to hire the best talent. And if that best talent is actually vouching for your product, is where you want to be, and hey, you have not just one sales rep but many sales reps vouching for your product. So even in cases like these job fairs, when we were standing, people would just come because we had a lot of interns, right? So they would go to other companies and vouch for us that, hey, this is the product that you guys need, and if I want to apply to your company, I would want this product on. So and this was kind of designed in a way where I call it a guerrilla marketing strategy for a B2B. It was very, but this turned out pretty awesome for us.
Yeah, I mean, you're finding where your ideal customers hang out, and then you're making them an irresistible offer. So
Yeah,
that's brilliant. So yeah, that's awesome. What a great tactic. I mean, we've done some event-based marketing, and it tends to be pretty hit or miss. And I love how you approached it here and really thought through exactly. You're not on a bandwagon. You're thinking about, okay, this is exactly who we're trying to target. This is where they're all going to be magnetized to. We're going to go there. We're going to literally print money.
Everybody is fake money to get their attention.
Exactly. So you got like every aspect of an amazing campaign right there. The hook, grabbing attention, and an irresistible offer, all to a laser targeted audience. So that's fantastic. So then where did you go from? Okay, so what about in terms of on the digital side? Because I know you have a really strong digital background on the organic and paid side. I'm just curious how you leverage some of those skills and the digital nature of Abi to really also help scale user base.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have to, so, one thing I'd give a shout out to is, Emily Kramer. She's a MKD1, newsletter co-founder. I've been following her since quite some time now, and she actually helped lay the foundations of the department. I mean, I could see around why and where I should start off. So, one thing that I understood was that, hey, you have to create content, you have to create campaigns, but then you need a solid distribution, right? And one thing that worked for us was, again, digital in terms of distribution, right? So in terms of creating brand awareness, educating people about earned wage access, that's where we wanted to be. Because let's say we meet someone in job fair, we tell them about the product, they would go, again, Google that. And once they do that, they need to see something. And that's where, we wanted to make sure that we're there. So, again, coming out with the content pieces, writing some articles about earned wage access, and then, writing some PR press releases for the big customers that we were signing on, and then, getting them released onto, local, very, known media outlets locally. And taking that on. So our distribution channel essentially was, because our prime target audience was B2B, we wanted to make sure that we're present on the localized media outlets, and taking up the news that people would care about. And then secondly, LinkedIn, because again, any decision maker would not be present on. I mean, they would be present on Facebook, Instagram. They definitely are, but they're not in the mindset. They do want to see different touch points. So, creating a strategy where anybody lands on our website should be retargeted with ads of Abhi, creating the top of mind brand awareness. And once they feel like they want to convert, is they can land on our website and do that. And similarly for LinkedIn, when they do their research part, is they come on LinkedIn, they can see all the partnerships from the credible companies and the media outlets covering that. was something that kind of boosted our growth as well.
Got it. So you're sort of just fast tracking those proof elements so that people can really believe in the app and the service, and not, like you said earlier, it's when it comes to finances,
Yeah,
there's a high bar of trust that you need to have for people to be able to say, yeah, okay, I'm going to run my payroll through you. I mean, that's a
exactly.
big that's a
A
big
big
deal.
deal, big
Yeah.
trust, and even for employees, right? If I tell them that, hey, this is your salary that you're going to be withdrawing from our app, suddenly they just get skeptical. Hey, do I want to take that risk of my salary going away for, let's say, some app, right?
Yeah.
So this is the trust that we have to create, and having these media outlets covering the news was something very good for us.
Yeah, that's cool. And then, I mean, how do you navigate, we were talking about it before we started the recording a little bit, just, there are obviously in any country, there's always going to be, crises on some level, and there's always currency fluctuations. I guess all this is in Pakistan's actual currency, correct? So you
Yep.
don't have to, okay, so you don't have to deal with like
Yeah.
massive
They
currency
are.
fluctuations. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that eliminates one huge variable that could be really problematic. But yeah, I mean, just, if you're comfortable talking about it, how do you see Abi, evolving in, let's say, like changing circumstances of a country?
Yep. So, unfortunately for the country, we've seen inflation that has, grown in a year, which otherwise would have grown in 5 or 10 years, right? So when I was a kid, I used to buy, a box of cookies for like 10 rupees, 20 rupees, and when I grew up it was just about, it doubled kind of in a 10-year duration, from 10 to went to 20, and then the last 1.5, 2 years we saw it double. It went from 20 to 40, but the salaries of individual never doubled, right? So this kind of impact definitely affects every individual who's in the economy. And like I said, unfortunate for the country, but fortunately for a startup like Abhi, this is where people actually need you, right? Because their purchasing power has gone down, and suddenly if they run into any emergency or any occasion that they need extra cash for, that they could have otherwise saved and taken on the next month, they might need it right now, is where they kind of access their salaries with earned wage access. And as we evolved, we saw that other business needs as well, right? So earned wage access was one product that we launched with, but we kind of added three more products to it that were completely serving the businesses and their growth and cash flow wellness. So the first one was payroll processing and financing, where they can get our money to just kind of process their payrolls if they don't have it yet, and then they can just pay us off when they get their money. So it's basically a 15, 20, or 1 month kind of credit line that we offer to these employers who we think are eligible or have good finances. And then comes the invoice factoring, where people just kind of, obviously there are a lot of SMEs and different contractors which provide services to big corporations, and they get paid after 20 days, 30 days, 90 days, and that's where their payroll and cash flow gets affected, where Abhi comes in, fills out that gap for them. This is where we can lend them against their invoices for 90 days, and once they get paid is when they can pay us back. And obviously we charge a certain amount of fee for that. And again, we saw that there was one more instance where people were getting paid on their e-commerce stores, and the bank was kind of clearing that money out in 1 or 2 or 3 business days. And we came with Abhi Pay, where you get paid by customer is in real time kind of getting deposited into your bank account. So these were some issues that we saw that we could solve for businesses. And looking at the current scenario and inflation and everything else that's happening in the country, I think this is where the businesses will actually need startups like Abhi, who would kind of fill their gaps, help them with the cash flows that are coming in and becoming an issue because the prices went up, right? So there's the commodity that they were purchasing for 100 rupees is now double for 200, is where now they need more cash to maintain the same amount of profitability. So, unfortunate for the country, but fortunately for us, we have a good room for expansion. But then, again, like you said, the risks and the threats out there are basically that, hey, we have to be careful about who we're giving out to, because we don't want to help or lend to businesses that might just be almost on the verge to closing off, or in an economy like this, it's very uncertain on when can something go off and something can go wrong. So we want to have our risk assessment done pretty accurately, so we're safe.
That's interesting. So it sounds, I don't, maybe I misheard what you said in one aspect, but it sounds like, so people who have like an employee level ABI account, they can pay like an e-commerce vendor direct ABI, like essentially like pay, like a PayPal type of situation. Is that you
Oh yeah,
mentioned?
so yeah, let me clear that off. It's basically a BPay, right? So that was a business product. So let's say I have an e-commerce store and I have a payment gateway, right? But in Pakistan, there's no PayPal here. So I want customers to pay me through through the web, and usually you have banks payment gateways, right? And they when somebody pays you, you get it after 2 or 3 days through the bank. So there's intermediary involved. And with AbiPay, basically you skip that. So AbiPay lets you do is when customer pays you and you get that money instantly in your account versus, waiting for the 2 days. And, that's how kind of quickens the process.
Got it. That's interesting. So these other financial products that you started rolling out, how did you actually initially come up with these ideas? Was it just thinking about it? Was it user demand? Just curious about that
Yeah, it was just
feature rollout.
constant. Yeah. So, a lot of, different product features I'll tell you about more, which is for the earned wage access user, for the end user, not the businesses. I'll tell you about them more after this. But, these were all feedbacks, right? So, we saw a behavior where people were using earned wage access almost on the end of the month when usually their payroll day starts. So we thought, hey, what's happening here? Because, why would you take out your money if you're getting, your paycheck next day? So why would you access all of it with paying us a fee? So upon inquiries and research, we found that their payroll was supposed to get delayed by 10 days or 5 days because the company was having a cash flow issue, is why they were taking out the money from the EWA product. And that's where we saw a gap, and we created the product called payroll financing. And these companies wanted this product, and as we created this, they just kind of opted in, and this kind of improved the morale of the employees because now they were getting paid on time. And for companies, they had a helping hand, which was giving them money for the service. So, other products as well, we kind of constantly, our sales team used to go and get the feedback. And, it's a constant fetching the feedback from different teams, right? So everything comes down to the product, and then they kind of evolve and create these products.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. It's from the beginning, you've been so just obsessed with your customers, which is so
Yep.
cool. And everything is clearly has emerged from that. So yeah, I mean, that's such a great reminder for all of us out there who, no matter what we're selling, if we're selling like fidget spinners,
Yeah.
even it's still a great reminder that you need to go and talk to your folks and figure out, what's could be improved and what's next. So, okay, so we talked about sort of crisis. Now let's just talk in terms of opportunities here. So what do you see as the biggest opportunities for UBI in 2023?
So, one thing is for sure that we're expanding on different, like I said, with the products in the app for customers is, right now they're financially empowered where they can access their salaries, but we wanted to do more than that. We wanted to make sure that they're financially well as well. So, we're coming up with products where they can use their earned wage to invest in, let's say, gold, right? So we've partnered with Pakistan, one of the biggest, gold company called ARY. And now what they can do is the employees of the users of ABI can do is they can just simply download their app, log in, and whatever they've earned, rather than waiting for the whole month, they can just invest in gold. And, that's something that they can hedge against because the inflation is kind of currently depreciating our currency every day. So, one thing that they can do is save their inflation, hit on the currency. And then, other products like, buy now, pay later. We partner with, two different partners who are providing BNPL services in the region. So, these customers, if they want to buy some assets or they want to buy something even like, mini fridge or cooking, oven or something, they can just have it on their installments. So, this, and then, trying to also focus on the unbanked users which might have not started using the app because they don't have a bank account, because a lot of blue collar people are still getting paid in cash in a lot of places. So we want to make sure that we kind of provide them with these wallets. So we're integrating with one of the largest wallet providers in Pakistan called EasyPesa. Now, what the user can do is open their wallet accounts right from a B app. So partnerships like this and the product features like this is something that is obviously getting us ahead and helping the customers at large. And other than this is basically we're expanding in Dubai right now as we speak. So when we launched, we did a pilot launch there, and looking at the market is pretty big. We want to see how we can expand there, and also expansion in Bangladesh is something that we're looking at right now.
Wow. Okay. So entirely two new, entirely new economies, new
Yep.
currencies, everything. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so how are you, from a marketing standpoint, how are you approaching taking something that's worked so well in Pakistan and then transitioning and spinning off Dubai, Bangladesh? How are you approaching getting those first users over there?
So one thing is for sure that localized content works. You need relatability, and you need to feel easy with the brand. Just like if I like you, you're my friend. I'd be more comfortable around you versus if I don't like you, your personality is not something I like. It's not something I would want to work with. And especially when we talk about, like I said, money is something that people are very careful about. So we have to make sure. I mean, what we're focusing on right now is localized content. People just understand that their product is in their local languages. So even in Pakistan, if you look at it, abhi, it's the word is in Urdu, right? And a lot of our communication is in the language as well, even though it's written in English, but it's a Urdu word. So this is how we want to keep our. I mean, it's pretty friendly, not very uptight, suited personality that we have. It's pretty casual brand that has emojis and other things as well, so that you feel comfortable, connected, and you feel like this is something that you see in daily in your life. Is the kind of personality. So personality is going to remain same. The brand purpose, vision is going to remain same. But the idea is that localized content needs to come up. So looking at the issues, right? So one use case example I gave was the tire getting burst is not something that can happen probably in the UAE region, right? They have a lot of cars versus bikes. So we need to see what use cases come up from customers, and then we create again communication around that. Versus in Bangladesh, there's completely different economy and market. So we, again, it's going to be the same approach. You go launch, test, A/B test different mediums, different channels, and keep listening to the customers, keep talking to them, get their feedback, and create communication around that.
Awesome. Hassan's great stuff. I love everything that you got going on, and like you said, you just keep coming back to really having this natural relationship with the customers and letting everything come from that. So, yeah, it's a great takeaway. So, where can people follow you? Obviously, you're busy. You're a busy guy. I know you do posts on LinkedIn, and you do share some knowledge there. So, where can people tune in and see what you got going on with Ubby and all the amazing things you're learning and doing?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I try. I mean, startups have a certain amount of uh, time that you have to invest, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I quite try myself to get very active on LinkedIn. Is something I'm failing to do, but I'm looking forward in this year. I told myself that I have to get active and share the knowledge that I've gained. Looking at solely 4 year plus startup marketing experience, again, I couldn't just put it down in just this small interaction of ours, but definitely I try to put that down on LinkedIn. So yeah, people can follow me on LinkedIn, and definitely about Abhi, it was one of the quickest grown brand in the region. So they can definitely follow Abhi's LinkedIn page, and follow Abhi's social media platform, other platforms, and we'll definitely get in the news.
It's awesome. And for everyone who's listening, it's abhi.com.pk, correct?
Yes,
Perfect.
absolutely. And for
Yeah.
anyone listening from the Pakistan or Dubai or Bangladeshi region, if they think they want a product like this around them or somewhere they're working, definitely reach out to us and we'd be able to help.
Fantastic. Well, Hassan, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to share all this with us and share all this knowledge. Fascinating and incredibly impressive what you've been able to do the past couple of years, and really looking forward to seeing how your success continues in 2023 and beyond.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ian, again, for inviting me over and giving me a chance to just put the word out about Abhi, myself, and looking forward to doing much greater things ahead.
Awesome. Well, take care.
All right.
Thank you so much, Hassan.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for this episode of VidTao Podcast. Again, my name is Ian Naj, co-founder of VidTao, and really appreciate you having a listen. And it means a lot. So if you have any feedback, go ahead and email us at info@vidtao.com. Love to hear your ideas for future shows, future guests. If you want to be a guest, let us know. Love to chat. Also, just as a reminder, this show has been sponsored by VidTao, which is our free YouTube ad library. vidtao.com. Again, you can go to VidTao and look up over 1 million ads at this point inside of VidTao. They're all unlisted YouTube ads. You can see what your competitors are running, track the results on a day-by-day basis, find new ads inside of our YouTube ad library, VidTao. And we also have a premium edition of VidTao. So the library is free to access, but for full unlimited access to the library, we have a premium edition of VidTao. We also have training from our inceptly.com agency, which is our sister company to VidTao, where we've managed over $150 million on YouTube. We provide training on media buying, creatives, tracking, copywriting, everything in between. It's all there inside of VidTao Premium. And right now we're running a very special deal on VidTao Premium. And you can go claim that right now at vidtao.com. When you sign up for free, you'll see the offer to join Premium, and go there and check that out. And last thing, we also do free brainstorm calls with our agency Inceptly. Go to inceptly.com/call. And we love brainstorming with you on your video advertising and just marketing in general. Love to chat. So inceptly.com/call, CALL. Would love to speak with you. So thanks again for joining us, and looking forward to the next show. In the meantime, have a great week.